Let's talk cards.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Welcome to Crosstown Cardboard, episode 59, with myself, Carmine, at Carmine's Cards, the sports broadcaster right down here in South Carolina, in Greenville specifically. That was the accent of the area, believe me, Craig. Greg has the Long Island accent. That's where he's from. Right now, he's a math teacher and a soccer coach in New York City and has branded himself accordingly at New York City Sports Cards. Great Instagram handle. And today, Craig, for episode 59, we're stealing a title and a tidbit from our good buddy Oz, our fellow Wolfpack member, aka the People's Mailman, a great friend in real life and in the hobby. And the title is Communication is Lubrication. And we're keeping it clean. The lubrication is just in order to talk about how communication is eased in the process of making a deal. You know, the effective communication leads to an effective deal. If it's not an effective communication, then there's a lot of friction. So let's go through the definition, Craig, real quick, and then you can jump in. Lubrication, the action of applying a substance such as oil or grease, in this case, communication is the grease, to an engine or component, in this case, a card deal, as to minimize friction and allow smooth movement. So effective communication leads to a smooth deal, which is the lubrication. I know some dirty minds out there listening to the Crosstown Cardboard podcast may be taking this in a different direction. That is not the direction we're going toward. We're going to talk about it as it relates to card deals. So, Craig, thank you for allowing me to select a slightly edgy title for this episode, but we're going to get into a couple deals that had good communication and poor communication and how that affected the end result of those deals as well.
Yes, thank you for the description of the title. It is catchy. So shout out to cousin Oz. But yeah, one of the things we always talk about here is just good communication and how much we hate stuff like being left on red. Obviously, we have some card deals that go into this, but you're going to talk about some good, some bad communication you've had. I have a new friend from South Korea as a result of all this. So
Right.
yeah, another week in the hobby and another opportunity to talk about some of the deals we made, our buys, our sells, and hopefully something that listeners could resonate with. And
Yes, sir.
yeah, it's a little bit of a PG-13 title, perhaps, but maybe that'll get some more clicks.
Yeah, maybe it will, and if it doesn't, we still love the loyal listener base that we've developed. And if you haven't subscribed, just, if you could like and subscribe, leave a comment, rate, review on YouTube and all the podcast platforms. If you like what we're doing here, just trying to bring some authentic, two guys talking cards around the age of 30, give you a little perspective on what we're going through. So hopefully that can relate to you and, push your hobby journey and enjoyment forward, or just pass the time in the car or at work. That's great too, because we've been getting some great comments on that. So, Craig, let's talk about the deal that you made, because it involves a card that you recently mentioned, which was not game used, contrary to our title a couple episodes ago, but it was still a pretty awesome card.
Yeah, again, the hypocrisy of me to pick up a non-associated patch card a week after the title "We're Game Used," guys. But
Yeah.
regardless, I have this card in hand. I gotta say, and you can really see it in the light right now. That is a gorgeous card. The black prisms hit different, and this is a Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, Tottenham dual patch, black prism 101 from Select Premier League. The patches are non-associated. Carmine, have you ever posted a card on eBay or Facebook or Instagram, and you noticed that card in particular got a ton of traction?
Yes, I have.
Can you think of one card off the top of your head?
Let me just look at my Instagram here. It's really the more unique, any type of really unique card. Wow, a Magic Johnson. This is really rare for me. The Magic Johnson, ending part of the S, the flawless letter patch of Magic, got 652 likes on my Instagram. Yeah, that was a lot because I only have 3,140 followers. So
ratio.
Yeah. So that's a lot of likes. So I think anything that has the wow factor, and a Magic 1-of-1 flawless auto that I posted got almost 400 likes. So
nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, we collect what we like, but I think in this hobby, I don't dislike validation. That
Of
feeling of
course not.
posting something and you get a lot of feedback, you get a lot of comments. I don't think I've ever gotten more traction on a card than this one right here.
Really?
I posted on eBay, my Instagram story, Instagram post, 3 different Facebook groups, and just the interest of the card was there. People wanted
Wow.
it. People
Really?
really
Okay.
wanted it. I just
Okay.
think there's a really strong Tottenham collector base.
Okay.
Son himself being from South Korea, there's a lot of South Korean collectors who really like him.
Right. Okay.
So
Gotcha.
remember, this was the card that I bought for $475 from Mealy Pops. Shout out to Mealy Pops.
Yep.
Put it on eBay. This was last Saturday that I bought the card. It got shipped to me on Thursday. Put it on eBay, put it on Facebook, got some few offers there, few offers here. I mean, within a day of posting it on eBay, I think I had over 20 different offers come in.
Wow.
A lot of them around like the 3 to 500 range.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, I get this offer that comes in, boom, $1,000. And it was an eBay user from South Korea. Now, we talk about communication. That's
Yeah.
the title of this episode.
Right.
If you could just see what I'm working with, this guy messaged me so many times,
Oh my
just,
God.
"Hey, like, will you ship to South Korea? Is this okay?
He
I
messaged
want."
you what, 7 times in a row before you
Yeah,
responded?
kind of a savage move on eBay to send, like, 8 different messages when you could have just sent that all in one, but great communication
Right.
regardless from my
Right.
new friend from South Korea, Jeff, GEOFF
Ah,
underscore 2566.
yeah.
And he sent an offer for 1,000. And I actually really considered it. What was going
Now
through my head at the
you bought this card for how much again?
475.
Okay, and you did not accept the offer to double your money right away.
It's funny you say that. Profit is profit. And I was talking to our good friend John, who's the Messi collector. John Vito. He always comments on our YouTube channel. He's a
Okay,
good
thanks,
friend.
John. Great.
And I kind of consulted him about it, and he's like 1,000 is a great offer. You should take that. For me,
Mhm.
I was thinking it in terms of, well, what will I net after eBay? Probably 850. What kind of profit am I working with there? And my response to him was, I don't know. I feel like I can get more for it. And now that I'm going to a couple shows in the future, I would like to have those heavy hitters with me. This being one of those soccer cards.
Okay, so you $375 profit after fees, you said, "I can do better."
So I countered the $1,000 offer at 1,500, thinking we'd meet
What
in
did
the
you list this at? What did you list it at originally?
2,000.
Okay, wow.
The guy came back with a 1,050 offer, so not much of an increase from the original 1,000.
Right.
And after some consideration, talking to a lot of friends, I accepted the offer.
Wow.
And it's funny because I paid for shipping. I did free shipping. I paid for insurance. So I ended up netting 860. So still a really solid profit from a $475 card that I purchased literally a week ago.
Yeah.
So I'm certainly not mad about it. But then I started talking to this eBay user on Instagram. He was able to find my account through my eBay page. Somewhere along the messages, I had said to him, "Hey, like, if you want to message me on Instagram, we can, talk about a price offline." He must have missed that message. But
Uh,
once he paid for the card on eBay, he then messaged me on Instagram
gotcha.
and was like, "Oh, we were going back and forth, really good conversation. He likes to do deals offline too." I said, "Oh, I wish you would have messaged me separately, beforehand. We
Yeah.
could have
Yeah.
closed this deal through PayPal. He would have
Yeah.
saved some money. I would have saved some money."
Yeah, you
But the
would,
communication,
and a lot of money,
a
like,
good amount.
$140
Right,
for
something
you.
like that. And
Yeah.
the communication back and forth was really solid. And I think that's what made this interaction even better, where we both kind of agreed, like, might be a little too much at this point to send you a refund and then reship it out. So let's just chalk it up as a loss. Next time we'll try to make the deals offline. But the communication was
Right.
great.
Right.
So I
Right.
appreciate that end of the deal. And I got my 860. I'm shipping that out. Another element of it, it's really something to consider when you ship internationally. Because of the price of the card, this is going to go through eBay authentication. So now it's up to eBay to ship the card to South Korea, which I kind of feel a little better about than if I sold him the card directly. Now I'm worried about making sure the card goes from my apartment in New York City to his place in South Korea. So something about having eBay as the middleman, where I almost don't mind the extra money that I could have made by selling it offline. I kind of feel better that eBay's in the middle because they're going to authenticate it, they're going to package it up properly, and they're going to send it out to South Korea.
I did not know that's how it works. So you're saying that you don't have to pay the international shipping fee?
I don't think so, because I paid shipping out of pocket and it cost me like $7.
Wow.
It goes to eBay. That's the initial address. It goes to Florida. Then they're going to ship it out to the buyer in South Korea. I had the same thought, but yeah, I paid regular price for shipping. So I don't know.
Oh, okay. I hope they don't like take that back out of your account later, and say
I'd like to see them try.
whatever. Have you already gotten the money? Has it hit your account?
It's in like the payments.
Processing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll have to do an update on that too, because that'll be interesting to see if they cover the international shipping or if it ends up coming out of your bottom line at the end. But either way, it's still a massive profit. You were so good at doing that. It's incredible. Picking up those, I guess you could call it your deep value purchases, that you see value in, that maybe you're freeing up from the card store and putting out into a bigger landscape of all these different, people collect cards for so many different reasons on different teams, sports, countries, continents, and you just find them by putting it out there and freeing them from the local card store.
Yeah, and it really is not all about profit. I'm not going to turn down a $400 profit in a week, because this is the type of card that even if I couldn't sell it, I would love for it to be in my collection, to be out at a show. But hey, I'll take the money, because that's just going to fund me being able to buy some more cards.
Right. No, that's great. And the communication was a key part of that. So what was and I know you mentioned the chalking up the eBay fee on both sides as a loss, would have been great if you guys communicated offline, but first deal, also shipping internationally, probably nice and safer, and eBay's, taking the load off and the responsibility to ship that internationally. But what was good about the communication that you enjoyed, like leading up to the deal?
I just think that this person messaged me on eBay, clearly wanted the card. A card, when you're selling a card for 4 figures, you want to make sure someone's actually going to pay. But the communication was so on point that I knew he wanted it. But it was really after the fact. Like, once the card was already sold and paid, look at these Instagram messages between me and this collector in South Korea. Yeah. I mean, how cool is that? If you really think about it. That's Here great. I am sitting on my couch last night, and I'm just having a full-on conversation with another card collector in South Korea.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
that's
really
incredible. Cool. That's just unbelievable that cards can bring people together from about as far apart as you could possibly imagine, and you are the international relations guy. I know you're a math teacher, but you're kind of teaching international relations through our podcast, because you've done recent deals with a couple people in Poland, with South Korea, and I'm sure with have you ever done a deal with anybody in Australia before?
Ooh, good question.
I've done a few deals with people in Australia. They love hoops over there, big basketball.
I can't remember if Australia. I did an in-person deal with somebody from England who was visiting New York City. Maybe that's a story for another day.
Yeah, that's great.
I'll save that story for another day.
Okay. Well, now we have a little teaser for the future, but man, that's incredible. That is just incredible. So unfortunately, I have my story on the other flip side of that coin, where the communication was not lubrication. It actually created a lot of friction in the deal. So I mentioned the deal I was trying to work on for the Larry Bird 1981 Topps rookie auto. But the key here is that it's a PSA 9 with a 10 auto. And before I get into the deal, I want to shout out our guy who we recently had on the podcast, and it's Matthew, 1956 Topps guy. And he listens to the podcast as well, which we also really appreciate. And he said, hey, you mentioned the pop report on the PSA 9 with an auto grade on the Bird as a pop 10. And he said, how do you know that, it's a PSA 9 with a 10 auto? How do you know that that's the thing that's a pop 10? And I said, you know what? Now that you mentioned it, I didn't really think about the auto grade being factored in to the pop report. He said, yeah, I'm pretty sure that PSA doesn't consider the auto grade in the pop report. I'm pretty sure they just consider the card grade. If it has an auto, then they're all in the same pop. So, for example, a PSA 9 with an auto authentic would be in the same category as a PSA 9 with a 9 auto, and in the same category as this one, PSA 9 with a 10 auto. So there really could be way fewer than 10 in the pop that have a PSA 9 with a 10 auto grade. So he schooled me, which I appreciated, because I'm like, well, that makes this card even better because it's the highest of the high as far as what a PSA 9 Bird rookie auto could be with a 10 auto grade. So I was like, okay, well, that makes me want the card more. But so anyway, I was negotiating. I continued negotiating, going off of our last episode, and I was still getting left on red. So remember when we left off on the last episode, and one of the last things that we were talking about was, should I up my offer on this card to $1,800 plus the Joe Burrow select tie-dye rookie numbered out of 25, which I'll just pull up here and hold it up on the screen here on the YouTube channel. The Joe Burrow select premier level PSA 8 rookie numbered out of 25. Nice card. Very liquid, you would think, during the NFL season. Yeah, we're definitely tie-dye guys. Shout out to Bill Walton and all the hippies. So that card last sold raw for $550. Mine is in a PSA 8, so you figure it's around that range. So the last thing we talked about, Craig, was upping my offer to try and get this Pop 10 Bird rookie auto in the best grade with an auto that you can get, Pop 10. So I immediately messaged the guy right after we talked because I was inspired. And I said, really hoping to close this deal. Would you do $1,750 plus Burrow? Now, there's no comps on this bird. The closest thing to the bird is a PSA 9 with a 9 auto that went for $1,550 in a fixed price on eBay. Somebody bought it for $1,550. So this one being a 10 auto, I'm offering like $750, $850 more value than what the 9 with a 9 auto went. Thought it was a fair offer. And this guy's been telling me he's looking for $2,500 cash, mostly cash. So he said, sorry, I've been at a show all day and traveling. Didn't mean to leave you hanging. I'm at a show again today. And I sent you this message.
You did.
And I said, so my offer's on the table. He's saying didn't mean to leave you hanging, but he's leaving me hanging while he's saying that. You know what I mean? Because my offer's out there. So he said, didn't mean to leave you hanging. And then I'm like, all right, so like, what's going on? So I said, no worries. Thanks for the heads up. My offer's on the table if you're interested. Left me on red. So then I messaged back a couple days later. So I messaged him on Tuesday when we last recorded. On Sunday. I messaged him on Sunday with that $1,750 plus Burrow. Tuesday, I said, thoughts on my offer? Nothing. Red again. Or on Instagram, it's seen, but everybody knows it is, you're being left on red. So I messaged again. So that was Tuesday. So I messaged again on Friday. I'm giving like days of gap here. I'm like, maybe this guy's busy. He's got a $1,750 cash offer plus a $500 to $600 card on the table. I said, so I messaged on Friday. Would love to hear your thoughts on my offer. Feel like we've had a good discussion up to this point, and it'd be great to close a deal. He said, sorry for the delay. So this is now a week after our last message almost. Sorry for the delay. I appreciate your offer, but I'll pass on it. Going to stick to my price now. I have 3 shows coming up. Stick to my price. I just want cash. Sorry to switch it up on you unless I'm trading for MJ or Curry. I said, what? So I really want this Burrow to take up some of the cash. So I said, what about $2K plus Burrow and I cover PayPal goods and services fees? $2K net to you. I said, and that gives you more than the value that you wanted, and 80% of it is made up of cash.
Seems very reasonable. Don't tell me he left you on red again.
red. Left me on red on Friday. So I messaged back 10 hours later. I said, feel like that's a strong offer that hopefully makes both of us happy. Does that work for you? Left me on red again.
Dude, you are thirsty.
I'm thirsty for this card. It's a pop 10. It's Bird's rookie auto. It's a pop 10. You know what I mean? So then I sent one last message yesterday. And I said, let me know when you can. No pressure. Just hoping to hear from you so we can complete our deal. Red. Can you believe that?
If you have to over communicate for a deal, it's like the law. We love good, solid communication, but if it takes so much from your end, I don't know, that takes away from it. Like
right. No, it does.
It wasn't meant to be. I'm sorry, Carmine. It just wasn't meant to be.
No, you're right. And so since then, sometimes when you're so thirsty, and by the way, I'm not afraid to admit that I'm thirsty for a Bird Grail. It's the best grade you can get his rookie auto in. Pop 10. I know I've been emphasizing that a lot, but I'm juiced up about the card. Not anymore. Not anymore as much. But, I was thinking about the deal, and I've heard some other people say this too, is like when the deal was so strenuous to complete, sometimes it can sour you completely on the card. And you're like, I don't even really, even if I did get this card, now it was such a struggle that, and I feel like I should have been treated with much more respect in that deal. Also, because I got $2,000 on the table in a tough card market. I feel like that's a very fair offer with a value that's $2,500, $2,600, and the one that was a PSA 9 with a 9 auto just went for $1,500. So I'm giving you $1,000 markup for the 10 auto. Now, I know it's a rare card. You could ask whatever you want, but, that at least deserves a response, So it's unfortunate. And, that deal is seems like it's dead. It might just be dead for now. Maybe it'll be reignited. But, and then I thought to myself, okay, go ahead.
I was going to say that deal is just about as gone as your sleeves right now.
I found this 49ers cutoff. I'm a big vintage t-shirt, vintage sweater, like crew neck guy, especially like anything sports. So, I got the 49ers. I feel like Christian McCaffrey hitting the hole right now with the sleeves ripped off. But anyway, I don't look that purty. Sorry, I had to.
Nice.
Sorry, I had to throw that in.
That one.
Yeah. So,
listen, it wasn't meant to be that Grail, and I think future you is going to be happy that you have that cash for life or for a cooler card that comes along your way.
Yeah, because we were talking about I was going to have to take some of my life money out to facilitate this deal because I only have about $1,200 in the card fund, and if I was going to fork over that $2,000, then it was going to be $800 out of my life fund, which wouldn't have set me back like terrible. And we talked about over like the course of 2 months, I would have made enough money for my job to, replenish that life money. But, and an interesting thing. So I started doing a little bit more research and I saw that it doesn't have to be like a PSA 9 with a 10 auto that I get of this Bird, rookie auto. Because, it's still pretty rare overall. You look at the number in the pop report of PSA that have, the 1981 Topps Bird rookie card autographed. There's 192 in the total pop. And so, like I said, the PSA 9 grade autographed is a pop 10. But then you look at the PSA 8 and also autographed, and it's a pop 25. And I saw the one that most recently sold in a PSA 8 with a 10 auto grade. It went for $500.
Hold on. The same card that you were going to buy in a 910, the 810 went for $500?
Correct.
And you were about to pay $2,500?
Yeah.
That seller is an absolute fool for not taking your deal. And I think you may have dodged a bullet.
I honestly, I did not see this 8 with a 10 auto grade before. I was looking at like 9 with a 10. I was looking for 9s with a 10 auto, and then the 9 with the 9 auto was the one that I was really going off of. But then when I simmered down a little bit, And maybe I did see this and just kind of ignored it. But yeah, I mean, so I looked at September 21st, the same card in a PSA 8 with a 10 auto went for $512
Do you remember
on
the
bids on
21st?
eBay.
Do you remember the 21st night of September?
What are you, Earth, Wind, and Fire? Very
You
nice.
you said September 21st. You laid it up for me.
Very nice. Very nice. So, you know, it just wasn't in the cards for that purchase, I guess. But, now seeing the PSA 8 with a 10 auto and knowing that I could save $2,000 to go for that. And it's not like the PSA 9 card of Bird is a low pop. It's $1,500 in the pop without the autograph. And the PSA 8, I think, is like a $3,500 pop on the Bird rookie. So, like, these are not rare cards. It's just the autograph that really sets it apart. But if I could find a PSA 8 with a 10 auto, I know it's only a pop 25 with the PSA 8 with an auto grade. I think that's, now where I'm leaning. Because I don't have to have the primo version of every single Bird card, so it kind of gave me a dose of humble pie and made me realize that, if the communication isn't there, then the lubrication for the deal is not going to be what it should be. And it just might not happen. Like you said, it might not be meant to be.
It was not meant to be. But we could flip the script and talk about some really good communication we've had as well.
Yeah.
With the same person.
Yep. So why don't you tell yours first?
So we've talked about Dave on here, extraordinary cards.
Yep.
And any deals I've made with him have always been really smooth. So he posted a bunch of stuff for sale. And I said, hey, Dave, what values do you have on these three? And there was one I really wanted. He said, let me check what I paid. So the open and transparency we appreciate.
Yep.
The Vic is a 101. We put it at 250. So I said, oh, I didn't know the woods were 1 of 1. Cool. He said, me neither. And I said, well, would you look at that?
Oh.
And he hits me with a in GIF form. So anyone that sends me a GIF, a playful GIF, I appreciate that as part of the communication.
Right.
Any chance you could do 200 cash on the Vic? And he said, I can't. And I said, all good. So I said, what's the cash number you need on it? And he said, 250. I said, well, that's what you valued it at. So makes sense. Trades too or not? He said, not at this time. Also, I'll ship it after Dallas. I said, copy that. So I slept on it. So I said the next morning, all right, I want this Vic. And he said, 250 is what I could do. And I said, let's do it. That's a deal. You want to pay now or next week when I have the card? I said, I'll pay it now. We'll lock it down. Easy communication with a little bit of jokes in there. Now, as far as the card itself, why did I buy this 2005 Topps Turkey Red Michael Vick wood card, a true 1 of 1? Which, first of all, that was like my prime years of collecting. I remember going to Target, getting packs of Topps Turkey Red, and just hoping to pull the jersey cards.
Yep. And by the way, check this one out. Alex Rodriguez.
Turkey Red.
Oh. Turkey Red, and it's red. It's numbered out of 50.
Red being left on red. Sexy red.
Oh yeah. Ski for all the youngsters out there.
Thumbnail opportunity. Hold up that Turkey Red card.
Hold on. Oh, you got to refresh your screen. There we go.
So the reason I picked that one up
is
I just booked my flights for Atlanta. Culture Collision.
Right. That's right.
January 26th. It's happening. So
I'll be there. We'll be meeting up for the second time.
Boom. So Culture Collision, a big giant card show in Atlanta, seems like the perfect place to have a true Michael Vick 1 of 1 from 2005. So playing years.
Yep.
Definitely not a card in my collection, but a card I'm very much so looking forward to having out at my table at an Atlanta show, and a nice positive interaction with Dave. Extraordinary cards along the way to get it.
Yep. Smart buys. You always do a great job of buying ahead also with, knowing where you're going. Like when you bought the Nuggets patches and you had the John Elway autograph before you went to Colorado, Denver area. You're good. You know your people. You know your market. What
can I say? Trying to think 2 steps ahead here.
But how much easier and how much better are those deals to like just, and by the way, that's not built up like overnight, that like how long have you known Dave for? Like, can you elaborate a little bit more on how that relationship is built up over time?
Yeah, I mean, I would say at least online communication, and when I see him at shows, we'll chat here and there for a few years now. So you develop that transparency
Right.
where he'll tell you straight up, like, this is what I paid.
Yep.
So you, as the buyer, like from our end, we know what he needs to get out of it. So develop relationships with enough people, and then we could just have those honest conversations. Like, whatever the comp is, whatever you want to pay, this is what I paid.
Yep.
So if you want this card, you have to pay me more than that. That's just how the game works.
Yep. And basically, for my deal with Dave,
Which was a
it
day
was,
after mine, by the way.
yeah. No, it was funny. It was extraordinary, actually. But
Nice.
when you look at what the phrase you just said, what does he need to get out of it? And that's almost the same exact question I asked him. He had this card listed at $200, and I thought it was just sick when I saw it on his story sale. And it applies to our game used card episode just a couple episodes back. It's this dual patch numbered 5 out of 5. It's leaf, but it's game used. Dr. J on the top with the bottom of the R, I believe, in Irving. And then Charles Barkley on the bottom with a piece of the Suns logo. You can kind of see the sun, the different two tones of orange with the purple in the middle. And I just thought that was such a cool combination. Those two guys starting off with Charles Barkley's career being on the 76ers. Shout out to Cousins Collectibles and Oz, the People's Mailman, for being huge Philly fans. I just thought that was an awesome connection. Dr. J taking Charles Barkley under his wing, although Barkley says Moses Malone was really the main one who got him there. But I mean, what a combo. Charles Barkley in his younger years, and then moved on to the Suns, made it to the NBA Finals against Michael Jordan and the Bulls with Scottie Pippen and those fellas, and became MVP of the league on the Suns. So anyway, I thought that was a real cool combo. So he said 200 was what he was asking on his story sale. So I said, do you have a value to go off on this, or like, how are you? I can't find any comps because I couldn't. And he said that was more of a starting point. So I was like, oh, that's great. So I asked him the question, basically exactly what you said. And I said, where do you need to be on it? Because I've developed a relationship with Dave similar to you. He said 160 ? And I said 150 friends and family ? He said, perfect, basically. And he was like, yeah, let's do it, And it was literally 5 messages total, like 3 from me and 2 from him, and it was done. And I got this awesome patch card that kind of helped me recover a little bit from how I was soured on the lack of communication in the big, Larry Bird rookie auto deal. But then I salvaged a little bit of hobby positivity and was able to go to, a trusted friend in the hobby who had an awesome card and just get that deal done real quick for $150. And, maybe that's something that I put away for a little bit, or, probably bring that out at Culture Collision and set up, because I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of NBA fans there. The Hawks there, big, market, top 10, population size in the country. So, but it was so refreshing to go from the lack of lubrication that I had with my communication with the Bird deal. And I'm not going to say I was lubricated with the Dave deal because I don't quite know him like that, but the communication was awesome. And it was so refreshing to have those juxtaposed to each other in a matter of a couple days.
Yeah, so it is funny how good communication, bad communication really can make or break the deal, to the point, like, I don't know, maybe that's just me personally. If you ever were able to close a deal on that Bird, it's like the stress that it took you to get there. I don't know. I feel like you would always associate those interactions with that card.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's sad. It's like, and it's even more stressful. It's not just being left on red. It's being left on red when you've put yourself out there. You've extended an offer. You've put your pocketbook on the table, $2,000 worth. And your heart's pounding waiting for this response. I don't know if that's maybe a little bit dramatic, but for me, trying to get a grail card for myself or a card, if you want to rephrase it, that would be a top 5 card in my collection. You know, my heart's pounding with every message trying to seal this deal. So like you said, it's even worse than just being left on red in general, because your emotions are out there and your wallet's out there, which is like, you know, 2 of the biggest things you could put on the table.
Yeah, of course. But we got some stuff coming up. November 11th, we'll be setting up at the Secaucus show in New Jersey with Rob, the sports card therapist, Tony Cousins Collectibles, Oz, the people's mailman,
Yes.
and 3 of my friends, Jeremy, Steve, and Tom, all soccer collectors. So I got a nice crew for November 11th. So definitely go to the Secaucus show in New Jersey. And then January 26th, me, you, Big Ken, going down south to Atlanta. So here I am in the fall thinking like, you know, fall's really busy. I don't get to do too much hobby stuff. Got 2 really significant shows coming up. Get to hang with my homies. So yeah, I'm just excited to some fun times ahead. There's a Bleecker trade night on November 16th. So I don't know. There's like drama and stuff that happens in the hobby. I'm making $400 flips in a week. I'm going to trade nights. I'm setting up at shows with my friends. Things are okay as long as everyone's communication is on point. The deals will continue to flow.
Yes. And, you know, we are upholding what you can't control everything. You can't control other people getting back to you. I mean, that's, you know, out of your control. But what me and you can control is being positive hobby participants and trying to be nice guys, trying to work out, you know, deals with other people in a respectful and courteous way. So, you know, that's kind of where I've landed on it. Even though it's upsetting that this deal didn't go through, I have the money back in my pocket. I have a lot of hobby friends who I know I can do easy deals with whenever. And, you know, now I can make other moves to maybe set myself up for Culture Collision in Atlanta in a few months and participate in the hobby in other ways. It's not like, you know, there's no moving on from that. So, you know, you inspired me also, Craig, because I'm like, you know what? I got to get back on the hobby bandwagon. So I made that purchase from Dave for the Dr. J and Charles Barkley dual patch card. And then I took all these pictures. If you're looking on the YouTube, you can kind of see that I took all these pictures of my cards to post on eBay. And so I'm going to participate in the hobby that way, try to get some cash, or at least have the option to put them on eBay and then see what happens before Culture Collision. So maybe if a bird pops up, maybe the PSA 8 with a 10 auto. I know there's not many out there, but that could be a situation to pounce on another PC card. But so you put buy it now and best offer every time?
Yeah, sometimes I'll do some auctions for stuff that I just, even if it sells for like $20, just let it run, get rid of it, get a little cash. Buy it now, best offer is the way to go. It's fun. Honestly, I think eBaying is so fun, and it's still, as far as eyeballs are concerned, still king. Not even close.
Yeah. And so the buy it now price, you put it like double of what you'll accept for an offer, or does it just depend?
Varies card to card. You know, I put this one at 4x what I paid for it because I knew it would get that type of attraction, and I did get that type of attraction. So
yeah,
you know what, Carmine, you're a smart guy. You've been doing this. Just use your best judgment.
Okay. Thanks, bro. Thanks for the empowerment.
I got you.
Thanks for the communication.
Listen, I practice what I preach. When I coach, and there's parallels between hobby and the real life. When I coach, I tell my players the same thing. If you cannot make it to practice or a game, you have to just let me know. Trying to build important life skills here. So when these girls graduate high school, they have their jobs, whatever it is, now they know to communicate.
Yeah.
So valuable life lessons that correlate with the hobby in that way.
Yep. And I think that's what people respect about you, you know, especially in friendships too. Your communication is not just, you know, the amount of communication, but what you say is honestly what you feel. And you hold your friends accountable. You tell them, you know, what you think is best for them. And, you know, not that you're trying to control what they're doing. You're just advising them and giving them your honest opinion like a friend would. But your communication is just direct, and it's how you feel, and it's authentic. And I think that's just a great way to be. Much easier said than done to be that way, because, you know, you could offend people in the process that aren't prepared to take that direct communication. But It's just easier. It's quicker. It's more effective. And at the end of the day, it usually leads to a better outcome.
Yeah, I just try to keep it real. Like, I'm about to keep it real with you right now. My food's about to be delivered any second, and I don't want to get up in the middle of the podcast to answer the phone. So maybe this is the right time to cut us off here.
All right, bro. Even though that communication was difficult for me, I'll take it. And I guess we'll wrap up episode 59.
Peace.